Yes, I do identify as a European. I was born of a French father and of a Polish mother. Therefore, I've always felt that I was not just French, even though that is my nationality. When Europe formed itself, I felt quite happy about that, and that probably helped me find my place in a situation where I was not totally French, like most of my classmates when I was at school, for example. When I left France for Belgium, I felt that I was right in the middle where things were happening for Europe. And I felt perhaps more at ease because when I was in France, I felt that I was not totally French, and that embarrassed me a little bit. Being in Belgium, I felt that I was perhaps better accepted as a European because I was partly Polish. In the year 2000, the euro came as the European currency. I felt that that was a major step forward towards the unity of Europe, and I could travel either to France or Belgium or any other country feeling that I was part of that unity which is Europe. I think that was the most important moment when I felt European. When I was younger, I started traveling in particular in Anglophone countries. And later on, I also traveled towards East European countries. And that was important for me because, as I said, being half Polish by my mother, I felt that being able to travel without particular formalities, without borders, which required perhaps visas or passports rather than an ID card, that made things much easier for me. And this is the way I felt that I was in Europe. Definitely, for me, the worst moment in the European history is the announcement of the Brexit. As I said a little while ago, I traveled a lot in the UK because I worked there. I finished my studies by a job as a French assistant in a school. I also had other little jobs when I lived not just in England but also in Scotland. And so I also, perhaps the fact that I speak English as my first foreign language, which I really master compared to others, I felt close to English-speaking countries. And I also have a daughter who actually is studying at Oxford. And it disturbed me quite a bit when I found out about the Brexit. I didn't want to believe it. To the last minute, I will have a little hope that things may turn out differently, but perhaps my hopes will not come true. And this really is annoying for me. I would have liked the UK to remain in Europe, in the European Union, and this really disturbs me quite a bit. I keep thinking that it's a big mistake which happened because people in the UK did not think of all the consequences, and I know that perhaps even a majority didn't want to leave the Union. Perhaps they played a little bit with this idea, not believing that it would happen. And unfortunately, it did happen. And for me, it definitely is the worst moment in European history. Perhaps the best moment was when Poland became a member of the European Union, because it made me feel even more European due to my double origin. It allows me to think of traveling very easily to Poland, hoping that soon the euro will be adopted by that country too, because I think that is important. I think it's more than just an economic project. I feel it is important in terms of peace, because very strong, very powerful countries such as the United States or Russia sometimes, I believe, try to make Europe weaker, hope that it will disintegrate so that they can dominate the political world, the economical world. So I feel that Europe needs to remain united, strong, and it would be great if the differences which presently exist between Western Europe and Eastern Europe, for example, in terms of economy, it would be great if that disappeared, to make a better unity, to encourage every country to believe in Europe and to get rid of some unpleasant situations due to the loss of a job, because some companies are transferred towards Eastern European countries because financially it's more interesting for them. But this situation causes great problems for the Western European countries, where complete factories or companies are just disintegrated, and people are extremely unhappy about that. To help me feel that I belong 100% to Europe. Because, as I said before, when I was in France, I didn't feel 100% French. Of course, I never felt 100% Polish either, even more so. But Europe makes me feel 100% European. What I'd like Europe to have achieved by 2030 is that unity I was talking about a little while ago, which means that economically people would become much more even, that there wouldn't be this big problem of people losing their jobs in the West because companies and factories move to the East for economical reasons. Also, people feel that some poorer countries take advantage of Europe, and so the richer European countries sometimes feel bad about Europe because of that. If that unity arrived gradually by 2030, I feel everybody would be happier. There wouldn't be any bad thoughts about the poorer countries, and Europe would become stronger because it would be unified.